This is Hill here. This recording is for the Activity 3 shared reading for April 29th, 2020. So before we get started, let me tell you some of the materials that you're going to need for today. First of all, as I realized when I was filming for Activity 2, actually after I had filmed Activity 2, I realized that I cannot upload Google Slides to assignments that have already been assigned to you. So you'll notice that for Activity 2, Activity 3, and then tomorrow for Activity 4, you will not be able to actually type in your Google Slides. You will have to do the activity on paper. I did put a special note in your schedule when I shared your schedule for Tuesday, and I'll make the note again today, and I'll make it for tomorrow's also. So next week when I upload assignments, I will be sure to make a copy for every student first, and then once it gets assigned to you, all of the kids will have their own copy to type in. So for this week, the only activity for reading that you could type in was Activity 1, phonics, because that had already been uploaded and made a copy for every student before it got assigned to you on Sunday. So to complete the activities for today, tomorrow, you are going to need to get a piece of paper. Blank is preferable, but whatever you have at the house, and something to write with. So go ahead and pause the video if you need a moment to gather those materials, and then we will start our lesson. All right, now that we have our materials, let's go ahead and get started. You'll see the chart paper behind me. This is the graphic organizer that we created yesterday for Main Idea. And you were to finish the last 2 bubbles to write in some more chores or things that farmers have to do on the farm. And then you'll have to take a picture of that and upload it to the Google Classroom to our, the topic is under shared phonics and writing. And you're going to go to farming then and now and upload it to that assignment. Okay. I will attach a how-to video to the end of this video to show you how to add photos if you've forgotten how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. You can obviously pull up your slides and click through with me, but it is not necessary. You can simply go through as I narrate the video for you. So today you can see we are going to tell how farming long ago is different from farming today. So we are going to compare farming long ago to farming today. If you do need to see the directions in different languages, you can go ahead and get onto your slides here and it will show you the directions translated for you. Here's an overview of the directions we're going to do, but if you're with me in the video, you don't really need to read that. So first we're going to watch some videos. The first video we're going to watch is called Life Long Ago and Now. And then the second video is going to be the skill we're working on today, which is about comparing and contrasting. And boys and girls, we've done this in class. Usually the graphic organizer that we use is a Venn diagram, which is the 2 overlapping circles. And if you've forgotten what that is, when you see this video, it will come back to you. So first let's watch about life long ago and life now. And as we're watching, since we are focusing on comparing and contrasting today, think about the differences that you're seeing from long ago to now.
Have little fox.
Long ago and now. Long ago, life was different. Long ago, people rode horses to work. Now we ride in cars. Long ago, people sent someone to deliver letters. Now we send emails on our computers. Long ago, people used lanterns and candles. Now we use electric lights. Long ago, people got water with buckets. Now we get water from faucets. Long ago, people cooked on fires. Now we cook on stoves. Long ago, people cleaned with brooms. Now we clean with vacuum cleaners. Long ago, people washed clothes by hand. Now we wash clothes with washing machines. Long ago, people drew pictures by hand. Now we use cameras to take pictures. Long ago, life was different.
Okay, so long ago and now, I did my own little compare and contrast as I listened to the video. So if I said Venn diagram before and you weren't quite sure what I was talking about, this is a Venn diagram. Okay, so it's just the two overlapping circles, and I focused on contrasting long ago to now. In other words, I focused on the differences, and remember that the differences go on the outsides of the circles. So this is long ago. So long ago, they used horses, and now we use cars. Long ago, they sent letters, and now we email. We still do send letters, though. Like, I just sent a letter in the mail, or more like a card in the mail, a couple weeks ago for my dad's birthday. So I'm actually going to cross off sent letters from long ago, and I'm going to put it in the middle and I'm going to change sent to send. Okay, so see? So instead of sent letters, we do send letters. But we also email too now, right? They used to use lanterns and candles for lighting, and now we use electric lights. We used to get our water from buckets. Now we get our water from faucets. And there used to be using only fire for cooking, and now we can cook on a stove. So there's some differences between long ago and now. So now I want you to watch the compare and contrast video that I'm going to bring up for you, just to give you some more reminders of what it's like to compare and contrast two ideas, because that is the skill that we're going to be working on today.
Vocabulary. We're comparing and contrasting. Let's get it? Everybody's doing it. In fact, we do it all the time. We compare and contrast when we're in the store, deciding what cereal to buy. We compare and contrast when we pick up what movie to see, or what player we want for our fantasy football league. I'll break it down for you. Comparing and contrasting, get with it. That's when you think how things are similar and different. When I compare things, I talk about how they're the same. When I contrast, it's the differences that I name. I analyze how they're similar and different. I look at them close, yeah, I get specific. I compare and contrast two books, three foods, two unicorn dudes named Hofi and Stu. Yeah, that's how we do. But what's even wiser, before I write, I'ma use a graphic organizer, a Venn diagram. Yeah, I'll show you that. I just draw two circles that overlap. In the middle, alright, whatever's the same, just list the differences in the other spaces. With three things to compare, what should I do then? I could add a third circle, so then let's get it in. I compare when I say how things are similar, like dollhouses and ponies, both miniature. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it? I compare when I say how things are similar or the same. Yeah, I bet that sounds so familiar. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it? Okay, I have to write an essay. Here's the prompt. Would you rather be a wolf or a domesticated dog? Domesticated dog is like a pet. I'ma compare and contrast. That'll help me pick. I use transition words to help my readers know that I'm comparing and contrasting. Here we go. First, I'll compare how they're the same. Both have fur coats for the wind, snow, and rain. Domesticated dogs love to play together. Similarly, both puppies will play in any weather. Pet dogs have paws, wolves do as well. Likewise, they both will eat meat. Can you tell? To see how they're different, let's contrast. Most wolves have longer teeth, and that's a fact. If a wolf gets sick, there's no medicine. In contrast, pets go to the vet. They let them in. Domesticated dogs don't worry about food. They get fed in the bowl. I bet they love it too. Unlike a wolf, which has to hunt, and if it can't find much food, they go hungry for months. A wolf can run free, do anything it pleases, while domesticated doggies are tied up with leashes. So while I might like to be a pet dog for a while, I want to be free. That's the call of the wild. I'm a wolf. I compare when I say how things are similar, like doll houses and ponies, both miniature. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it? I compare when I say how things are similar or the same. Yeah, I bet that sounds so familiar. I contrast when I say how things are different, give examples and get specific. You get it?
Okay. All right, now that we've watched our videos, let's see what comes next. So they want us to read the text next, but before we read, let's be reminded of what it is we're doing today. So we need to type 2 sentences to answer the question, and we're not going to type, remember, we're going to do this on paper, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So how was farming long ago different than farming today? So I'm going to help you get your paper set up before we get started. I'll bring my video back here. So our video, or our paper, that we're going to make is very similar to what you saw in the video and what I created as I watched one of the videos that we watched, right? So we're going to have a Venn diagram also. I am going to draw it behind me here, and we're going to have long ago, or actually we're going to use the words then and now, because if you remember the text, farming then and now, it's called that. And then also the little clocks in the book, they have the words then on them if it's talking about how farming was back then, and it has now if it's talking about how farming is now. So those are the words we're going to use. So we're going to create a Venn diagram. So I'm going to get my blue marker. Remember what's in blue, you write too. Scoot off to the side here. Okay, so here's my piece of paper. All right. And I'm going to draw 2 circles, okay, 2 circles, and I want to make sure that they overlap. Now the trick too is that when they're overlapping, you want to make sure they overlap with a good amount of space, because you need to have room to write in the middle, okay? Because remember that our similarities, things that are the same about both ideas, go in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to start somewhere a little bit over the middle of my paper. I'm going to draw 1, and then 2. Okay, so draw your 2 circles, and on one side you're going to write then, and remember that we added then and now. If you look up here, we added then and now to our sight word wall yesterday too. So hopefully you're adding that to your sight word wall at home. Speaking of sight words, if you haven't checked out the sight word activity yet, please try to do that. Your sight words are so important. You need to be practicing those. It will help you become a more fluent, better reader because they're words that you're going to see very frequently. That's why they're technically called high frequency words. So, we call them sight words for short, or snap words. You should know them in a snap, right? When you see them, you should know them. So please practice those words. If you're having any trouble finding any resources for sight words, please reach out. You can also go on our Google Classroom under where it says sight words and find the materials that I've uploaded so far, okay? All right, so back to our Venn diagram. So we have then and now. So we are going to compare how farming was different then compared to how it is now. And if there are things that are the same, we're going to put those in the middle. Okay? Let's go back into our text, and remember, we're comparing farming long ago to farming today, or farming now. So yesterday I shared the YouTube of the teacher reading Farming Then and Now. Today I'm going to go into the PDF version and reread some sections with you so that we can see the words a little easier for us to write them on our Venn diagram. So this is Farming Then and Now. And looking at my table of contents here, I'm going to pick a topic that I want to look at. We are not going to go through the entire book for this activity. We are just going to pick out a couple of topics. So I'm going to pick out a topic that I'd like you to go ahead and do along with me. And then I am going to leave it up to you to pick another topic to do the same thing. And that will be your assignment, your work that you're submitting, okay? You can do it all on the same paper though. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go to Time to Milk the Cows. So where am I going to find that? Page 6. Remember that the table of contents is a nonfiction text feature. Nonfiction, remember, means that I'm learning about real events, real ideas. It's not fiction fake, it's not made up, right? And in nonfiction text, a lot of times there's a table of contents that shows you where you need to go to access the information you want. So I don't have to read this book from beginning to end, and I'm not going to read it from beginning to end today. I'm going to skip around based on what I need to know. So I want to look at Time to Milk the Cows, page 6. So I'm going to go through and find page 6, and my page numbers are down here on the bottom. So this is page 4, page 5, page 6. All right, so this is the page that I am looking at. And here is my heading, another nonfiction text feature. It says Time to Milk the Cows. That lets me know that I'm on the correct page. I have the page number that I saw in the table of contents, and I also have the heading that I saw in the table of contents. Okay, so I'm going to read, here I know on this clock here, it says then. So I know that I am going to read about how farming was then. Okay, so it says 100 years ago, most milking was done by hand, one cow at a time. Okay, so that was then. So I'm thinking in my head, all right, if that was then, milking was done by hand, one cow at a time. That I'm probably going to write in this side, right? But let me read about now also. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through here, and this book follows a pattern. The author definitely followed a pattern when he wrote this book. He first talks about how farming was then, okay, and then he talks about how it is now. So now that I would assume that the next page, if I'm following the pattern, the next page is going to be about how farming is now. Here we go, and here's the clock here that tells us we're reading about how farming is now. Today we use machines to milk cows. This makes it much faster. So this is now. So if I'm looking at my Venn diagram, I know then milking cows was done by hand, right? By hand, right here. Done by hand. And now machines milk cows. So that's a difference, right? Well, what's a similarity? Farmers milk cows, right? They milked cows then, they milked cows now. The milking of the cows is still happening. It's just the way that it's done is different. So I'm going to make my screen bigger here, and you can write this in with me. What's in blue, you're writing too. Okay. So milking cows. And I like to put these little bullet points here, okay, to make notes. Because in a Venn diagram and a graphic organizer, I'm only making notes, okay? You can write in sentences if you want to, but it's not required. So milking cows is the same. It happened then, it happens now. Well, the difference is then milking was done by hand, right? And now milking is done by machines, right? So I'm going to say machines are used. Okay, so here's my differences where I'm contrasting things that are different, and here's my similarity, things that are the same. Okay. So I'm going to go through and read another section to you. And this time I am not going to give you the answers. All right. I'm going to ask that you think about it and that you write in your own answers. And then this will be the work that you can upload for me. Okay. So let's look. I'm going to go back to my table of contents. And I'm going to go to time to feed the animals. Now, if you don't want to do time to feed the animals and you rather do another topic, then you certainly have that option. But you're going to have someone at home read the other section with you if you can't read it on your own. Or you can bring up the other recording that's in our Google Classroom of me reading the entire text to you. Okay, so I'm going to go to time to feed the animals on page 8. Using my page numbers to scroll through. Here we go. Here's my heading, time to feed the animals. So this was then. Ready? 100 years ago, animals ate cut up turnips, potatoes, beets, and other root vegetables in the winter after the hay was gone. Let's read about now. Now, today, animals such as cows and sheep eat silage in the winter. This is a type of food made from grass crops such as corn. So think, first of all, what was the same? The animals were being fed, right? The animals are always fed, all right? So that's your similarity. The animals were always fed. They were always eating. What did they eat then? And what do they eat now? So this is then. I suggest pausing your video here so you can write down what they ate then. Go ahead and pause. And then this is what they ate now. So go ahead and pause your video again to add to your Venn diagram what the animals eat now. So now that we've completed our lesson, I'm going to give you a recap of a how-to, and I'm just going to do the how-to upload a photo of your work today, since you cannot type in the Google slide for today anyways. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Mrs. Chapman's classroom, because in Mrs. Chapman's classroom, I am a student, so I see things the way you see things as my student. So I'm going to go to my classwork, and this is what you will do in ours. You will find the activity. So our activity, you're going to look under shared, and you're going to find our shared reading, and you're going to find Farming Then and Now, which is our book this week, and you're going to find activity 3 shared, and that's where you're going to want to go in and you can add photos. Okay, so if I go back to Mrs. Chapman's classroom, so let's say I go to an assignment, I view my assignment, okay, and you're going to see all of your different activities coming up here, and over here on the side it says add or create. So if you click add or create, if you're adding a file, you are going to, or I'm sorry, if you're adding a photo, you are going to click file. Okay, and you'll have to make sure that the photo is first saved on your desktop. So if you take it from your phone, I suggest emailing it to yourself and then opening it on the computer that you're on Classroom, and download it to your desktop there. Okay, so select files from your device. So if you saved it to the desktop, let's say I want to add this picture. I downloaded some emojis that I could add to your work as I'm grading it. Not grading it, but checking through it. So there I'm adding my thumbs up emoji. I'm going to wait for it to load. Now be careful. If you hit this X, it's going to be gone. Okay, so you should be able, as the week goes on, to add these. So let's say I'm not going to turn my work in yet. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to Mrs. Chapman's classroom here. I'll tell you what, I'll even go back to my classroom and let's see if that photo is still there when I go back. I know some of you are having issues with that, so I just want to make sure. Okay, so let me go into the same assignment. I'm going to view my, oh, there it is. There's my work. The only way my work disappears is if I hit this X. Okay, and then at the end of the week, I'm going to hit turn in. Tomorrow, when I want to add a new one, I'm going to click add or create. Okay, I'm getting rid of that now because this isn't a real assignment for me to add work to. Okay, so that is how you add your photos. Please, as always, reach out if you have any further questions.